The number of queer media has increased substantially throughout the years. Imagine Billy, a young child growing up in the early 21st century with nothing but his inner queerness and this heteronormative world in the media, watching as he's being shown what the ideal version of society looks like. One of the best things that the invention of media has given us is it gives a way to publicly represent queer voices that are often silenced. When the media positively represents queer communities, it is essentially normalizing those identities, attitudes, and values.
I'm gay. And I am in love with Abby.
On the other hand, if the media were to negatively frame queer individuals, such as through offensive stereotyping, for example, those communities will continue to be marginalized, and that heteronormative world will continue to dominate the media.
Lucky I'm gay! I'm so gay!
Another good example of negative queer representation we have seen in film so far is the movie Gilgy, starring Jennifer Lopez as a lesbian and Ben Affleck playing the man who seduces her. This entire film is just wrong and suggests that one is only gay until the right person comes to make you straight. Let's switch topics and talk about positive queer representation we are seeing more today than ever before. Pose is a TV show that revolves around queer chosen family and is set during the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 1980s. This was during a time when 25 to 40% of homeless individuals were LGBTQ+ identified and have been discarded by their families. Pose focuses in particular on the New York City ballroom culture.
Pose is bringing it back and saying, look, these trans women are the foundations of where LGBTQIA+ community was able to gain the ability to have that huge gay pride in New York City.
And fun fact, the show has the largest transgender cast in TV history. Back in February of 2017, Moonlight won the Oscar for Best Picture. It's a film about Black and sexual identity. It takes place throughout 3 different chapters of Sharon's life. The film focuses on subjects such as masculinity, race, class, and sexuality, overall creating an outstanding portrayal of self-identity and how it can really make you feel so alienated from the rest of the world. It's films like those that are essentially normalizing these marginalized communities to help shape and educate society. And the more films that focus on positively representing the LGBTQ+ community, the more children in the closet will be able to have a sense of self-comfort. Because ultimately, those early experiences as a child can depict what you imagine as being possible. One good way to go about doing this is by having an actual diverse film team that can accurately and respectfully portray communities because they've experienced it firsthand. Unfortunately, Hollywood is not diverse. In fact, about 73% of filmmakers are white. Frankly, we're just tired of seeing the same stories over and over again. It's time to share narratives that span from diverse communities across the United States and beyond. It's time we normalize and talk about sexuality and queer identity even more than we do now, not just for the future of queer people, but for the society's sake as well.